Yes, Sierra, it's great to have you on the podcast there. How you doing?
Thanks, Adam. Good. How are you?
Yeah, no, good, good. Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. Really well. And it's yeah, it's
Good.
great to have you back. It's it's always a pleasure talking to you and having you on.
Same. I've been looking forward to catching up. We've been trying for a couple weeks now, haven't we?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's just trying to find that right time, isn't it, to schedule it in.
Yep.
But like
Yep. How have things been going your way?
yeah, it's been good. I've just been busy with my new job, so I've been doing that. And then in the evenings, I've just been managing to fit in podcasts when I can and just been babysitting my dogs
Hmm.
as you've seen me today, running around after them. But um,
Yep.
but yeah, going really well, thank you. And yeah, it's always
Good.
great connecting with you and doing podcasts. And I just kind of thought, you know, talking about we can only go with the flow when we do a podcast. But I was thinking like we could talk
Yeah, we do.
about you know where the things that you're working on, where you're at, any changes in
Okay.
what you're doing. We can go into like consistency and purpose, and if we have time to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you want me to give like a little quick background and what I've been
Yeah,
up to
yeah, it's cool.
for those okay. So yeah, my name's Sierra McCleve. I own a couple businesses here in Utah in the States and in the restaurant food world. And so, Adam, as you know, I have a drink shop in Salt Lake City, the place you're going to come visit someday soon, right? And then,
Yeah,
and then I have a bakery kind of in the mountains, uh, outside the Valley of Salt Lake, so near Park City. And recently, I just changed up kind of big time. I took my bakery, which I was doing retail, uh, just like any bakery, but I had a drive through and I closed that part of the business to just focus on wholesale, for a few different reasons. I've been thinking about it for a couple of years. So that's been a major shift. And it's actually been difficult to go from, like, this is the analogy that I've been using, is go from like 150 miles an hour down to 70 has actually been tough, like harder than I thought. The stress is less, which is good. And but it's been interesting for how my brain is wired, how I'm dealing with slowing down a little bit. But overall, it's been good, but also difficult with that transition.
yeah, no, that's it. And I think like the kind of person that you are, in everything that you do, like you got multiple businesses that you're running, and you have different staff and multiple staff, and then I suppose the
Hmm.
systems in that because it's in hospitality as well. It's very kind of go go go, very busy. And then on
Yeah.
the obviously the logistics side, it's completely changed it and slowed it down, which is
Hmm.
probably a different pace, isn't it, to what you're used to working. And I think
Yeah.
you're always making awesome content on social media. You're always doing.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. And you go cycling. You live in an awesome place. So you're busy on that scale of things as well. And I think um, sometimes it's good to change, isn't it? And good to pivot and shift things. There's a lot of growth there probably to occur, isn't there? Because you have
Hmm.
been doing these like tiny houses as well. I mean, that's
Yep.
probably you can channel your
Yeah.
energy into that as well.
Yes. That was by design too, because I knew that this transition was going to happen sooner or later, and this opportunity came to build these tiny houses. So I'm building three tiny houses in 3 months. I'm not personally building them, but I'm having a builder build them. And I knew this transition was going to happen sooner or later. So I wanted that to be my place to put some of my energy into. Um, and it's been good. So tiny house number one is done, should be listed next week. Number three is going to be done in like 2 weeks. Number two, we're waiting on windows. Anyway, that's been a ton of fun and a new adventure. And I agree, change is really good. Like a lot of people, I mean, I had my bakery for 8 years and people are still not very pleased. They're still grieving that we're closed, but it definitely was time to do something different. And I think that a lot of people, I mean, it took me 2 years to decide. So I think a lot of people get scared to start and they get scared to stop and or transition or to change. And I just think that is where the most learning and growth can happen. Because, like I said, I've not been this uncomfortable in a while with like the change in the dynamic, and I think it's good. So I'm learning a lot about myself at the same time. So
Yeah, most definitely. And I think you have to trust yourself, don't you, as well? Like, especially as a business person, as a leader, you have to go with your gut and draw a line in the sand when you need to. Because I think if you don't, then you hear about it with leaders or CEOs, their emotions, and that can leak into the business itself. And if you're not actually
Hmm.
probably acting on the things that you want to do, it can probably affect the business and people, and it's like a domino effect, isn't it? Whereas if you
100%.
go with what you want to do, then it's only going to benefit you and the business overall, really.
100%. Yeah. And you've probably experienced this, or people have probably experienced this, where you know they they started working for someone, or they worked with a company that was really great, and then all of a sudden they weren't great anymore because either the leader or the owner either got distracted or got sick, or something happened where the focus wasn't there. And so yeah, it's there's just so much better energy when you're like in it and all about it. And yeah, for me, it was just time to transition. It came to the point really with business like this, food and beverage. It's you either have to franchise, not necessarily give away your ownership, but you have to either multiply your stores a lot to actually make money, or focus on catering and wholesale with like one shop. But you need the brand recognition to be able to do that. So we built up the brand recognition for 8 years. I feel like we're in a really good spot. And so my goals right now are to get like some coffee shops, wholesaling them baked products so they can thaw it, bake it up fresh, have a really good food product to sustain the business until I want to get my cinnamon rolls and kolaches in some of the major grocery stores over here, which here to Utah, it's Harmon's, Smith's, Costco is kind of like the big goal. So the change has been good, difficult but good. And yeah, I'm excited to like dive into something where it's fueling that fire again, and then I'm excited about, because then everyone else around me that I'm getting involved, I think will feel that and be kind of like elevated and have good momentum that way.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And I think it's exciting, isn't it? Because you still got your business. It's just almost like a different logistical way of getting it out there. You're wholesaling,
Hmm.
so you can distribute it to bigger places, wholesale places, and people can buy it. And
Hmm.
probably the people in restaurants who have businesses, are they able to buy it as well, and that kind of thing. So you're kind of outsourcing in different ways. So it's for your staff, it must be exciting because it's a new way of working, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been different. We had to scale back quite a bit, and so it's definitely it's almost like starting over, but not quite, because it's a whole different line of business, and we have been doing it for a while, but then growing it. It is exciting. And with this model too, you know exactly how much labor to schedule, you know exactly how much products to order, whereas on the other side of it, you're guessing a lot with the drive through, and that's where a lot of waste comes from. Is if you're not watching your labor, you could be overstaffed, you can be understaffed, you can have waste at the end of the day that you just have to throw away or donate. So it's going to be a good transition. It's just been a little bit difficult for me to mentally grasp onto, but I've taken a few weeks to kind of chill out and like regroup and to unwind a little bit. And now I'm kind of hitting it hard again with the tiny houses. So
Yeah. No, I love it. It's awesome. I really commend you for that you do. I think it's really inspiring. And I think,
thank you.
you're welcome. And I think like as well, like when you talk about difficult times and uncomfortable times, I think there's a lot of growth that can kind of happen in those times. Sometimes, if you're not kind of experiencing pressure or some kind of stress in some way, then we I think we constantly are growing as people. We kind of need that sometimes, that discomfort, that stepping into the
Hmm.
unknown and trying things new, because it's the only way that we grow and create new things. And it's like if you hadn't have done what you did in changing the business, changing that model of the business, then like you could have been losing profits or whatever, and even just starting out in what you're doing, that's a big jump to even start, isn't it? You think back to like 8 years ago, um,
Hmm.
having the idea or the plan for doing what you're doing, you have to ultimately, take that jump, don't you? I mean, you're an example of that. That's something that you're doing.
Hmm. Yeah. And yeah, it's interesting. I tell people often that I was so naive going into it, but it's good that I had that naivety because that because if I would have known everything, I don't know that I would have done it because it's so much work, but also so much learning. And yeah, it's just been a time to shift. And I do agree with what you said. Like, I do think that we need that stress and discomfort sometimes. What I'm finding is I was like leaning so much into that stress and discomfort for how my brain's wired to like keep structure in my day. And that could be just some ADHD brain wiring. I think that has a lot to do with it. That also you need time too to like be uncomfortable with less stress and less
Mm,
adrenaline to kind of recalibrate. That's what I'm finding is like I think maybe my cortisol levels were my body got used to a certain amount of cortisol and now it's like trying to regulate out again, and it's just been interesting. It's been pretty wild. So I think it's been good, and my friends are reminding me regularly that with discomfort you're learning and growing and becoming better. So that's
yeah.
um that's kind of where we're at, and it's been good. It's been good to take a few weeks to kind of like process that, and now I'm just like super excited to dive into tiny houses and whatever else is coming up. So
That's awesome. And I think it's that balance, is that you need that balance. And, to be the best version of yourself, you have to have that downtime, that kind of recuperation period to
mhm,
then engage and be your best self, don't you? You have to have that downtime, even though, we might be busy a lot of the time, and that's
100%.
how we're kind of wired. I think I'd kind of relate to, I'm, busy with work, and then I'm running around and things like that. And then sometimes if I stop, I kind of feel guilty. And it's like you kind of have to
Yeah.
kind of be
Mhm.
okay with that. You have to sometimes say, okay, I need 10 minutes. I need to do X, Y,
Yeah.
Z. And I think,
Mhm.
in your scenario, it's very easy to keep, be on that treadmill of just going, going, going. And I think it's good that you recognized, kind of what you're doing, and that you need a bit of, downtime to focus on yourself and a few other things as well. And I think that's only going to grow probably the business even more.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. It definitely came to a point where I just knew I needed to kind of like chill out and take some time out, and it's been good to kind of finally breathe for a little bit and hang out with my kids. I've been able to hang out with my kids so much more. That's just been the best. And that was also the receipts of like um just the proof that it was the right decision for me. But I have a question for you. So you said when you slow down, sometimes you feel guilty for not, producing or like continuing to go. So how do you have that conversation with yourself? Number one, like how do you kind of catch yourself in that?
Mm.
And then what do you do to what are some things you do to kind of like decompress and unwind or recharge?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I think I recognize it in my energy. I think in my energy levels, when and how I feel, my general energy,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm burnt out or if I'm doing too much, I recognize it. I don't feel as effective if I'm in that state. I can't do a podcast. I don't do it because I can't be my best self. I can't bring it to the plate, and my focus isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize it in my energy. So, but my
Yeah.
downtime is, I walk my dogs, I'll go for a swim, leisure center. I I'll play video games,
Mm-hmm.
read, listen to music, and try and have
What
time to
video
myself.
games? What video games? I have to ask this because my brand guy Chris just convinced me to buy an Xbox,
Right.
and the Switch just came out with Tony Hawk, which I
Mm,
played on PlayStation back in the day. So I've
mm.
been playing Tony Hawk. So I want to hear like your top two games that you've been playing.
Yeah, I've got a Switch and I've got a PlayStation 4. So
Okay.
I have a Switch, and I love there's a game came out years ago called BioShock,
Okay.
and that's like a real classic. And they made a couple of
Okay.
them, so I play that on my Switch, and then
Okay.
I on my PlayStation I've got a game called Days Gone, and it's like an apocalyptic um, open world game.
Days
Um,
Gone.
Days Gone. I think it might just be on PlayStation, but
Okay. I've got one of those too.
yeah, but I I play those two games at the minute. I mean, I tend to buy
Okay.
lots of games in the sale, and then I'm like, oh shit, I've got like 20 games now I
Yeah.
need to play.
Yeah.
But
What was the first one called, Adam?
it's
Bio what?
called BioShock.
BioShock. Okay. For the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, it's on all the
All
other
right.
platforms. They just remastered it for the Switch. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing those recently and just kind of spending time in the evening and doing that. So and listening to music, I think really helps keep me grounded. Um,
Mm-hmm.
even driving.
What's your top? I need to hear like either favorite artist or favorite recent artist then. Because
Oh,
I'm gonna be creating a Spotify playlist, Adam.
nice.
Mini playlists. So
Yeah,
maybe your song will be featured. So tell me what your like either your favorite artist or song right now or list of all time.
yeah. I think someone that I really, really admire. He's not with us anymore, but you probably heard of him, a rapper called Juice World.
Oh yeah.
I've been
Yep.
listening to a lot of his music recently, and he's got tons
Mm-hmm.
of unreleased music that's still being leaked online.
I
And
love
his
it.
his work ethic was just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. I really like, I've seen so many different versions of, or heard a couple different versions of Life's a Mess by him.
Yeah.
And then the one that he just did, he did it. Okay, so there was a version with Halsey, and then there's a version with Post Malone and one other guy.
Yeah.
Do you know which one I'm talking about? It starts off with just like the acoustic guitar. I'm gonna try to
Is it
find it.
is it fast?
Nope, that's not fast. Let me see. Hang on, it's in my favorites. I will find it so fast
Because I watch
because
his freestyles where he freestyles for like an hour, or he freestyles
oh
for
my
like,
gosh, really?
yeah, he did it on a radio station. He freestyles for about an hour.
Oh
Literally
my
made
gosh.
yeah.
I need to look at that. I love his stuff. I really do. Like, oh man, where is it? Okay, I'm gonna find it and I will send it
Yeah.
to you. And I'll
Because
try to bring it up so that your podcast listeners can look it up because it's so good.
mm,
All of his stuff is amazing.
yeah. He was a genuine guy. Like
So
he
Juice,
had a few interviews and he was probably just down to earth and quite deep, you know?
uh-huh, man. Like I was talking to Chris also the other day about
Mm,
like Mac Miller and just all these like super talented
mm.
artists that just we just lost too soon. And it's just so sad.
Mm. Yeah, I
Okay,
think
so who else? So Juice World, anyone else?
I like Juice World. I've been listening. I like a lot of old music as well. Like I like Frank Sinatra.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Um, yeah, Frank Sinatra.
Can't go
Trying to
wrong with
think.
Frank.
I like Mumford and Sons.
Okay.
Um,
Nice.
I'm trying to think who else. I like Rolling Stones. Like that kind of music.
Mhm. I for the longest time I was just listening to like the same old music, like a really long time, Adam. Like
Mm.
I'm not even gonna specify how long, but just like the same music that I would listen to like growing up and stuff like that. And then I finally was like, I need some more music. So I ventured out. And it just reminded me how therapeutic and cathartic like that can be. And not only that, like listening to it, I play guitar too. And so that for me has been when I am extremely stressed out and I need to pull out all the stops, like I'll exercise, I'll go lay in the sun, and then I'll go play guitar and sing. And like that combination of like doing something creative and then also like using my vocal cords to kind of like just express stuff, like really loosens them up. I love it. It's like one of the best unwinds ever.
Yeah, it really is. And there's someone else that I connected with. I did a podcast with them the other day, actually. They're called Opium
Mm-hmm.
Moon.
Okay.
Opium Moon, and her name is Lily Hayden. And
Okay.
they make very kind of sensual music, and she's a violinist as well.
Okay.
So my dogs are barking. 1 second.
No sweat.
But yeah, music's really grounding, isn't it? Really kind of can
Mm-hmm.
really ground you and kind of bring you to the moment as well. And I think it's people express their emotions and how they're feeling, don't they, in their songs and their music. It's like an outlet almost.
Well, just like and really like when you connect with a song, like I've always loved music. Just I played a lot of instruments when I was younger, just loved it. But like I think that's one of the coolest things to have been to be able to say you made a song that like people connected with and could relate to and like help them get through something. Like I have like 3 songs, at least one, that like will put me in a good mood no matter what.
Mm,
And have got me through some really tough stuff. And I just love it. And I wish I was a little bit more on the side of writing. Like I wrote a little bit when I was younger, but I do better if I like co-write with someone. I can do the music and they do lyrics. But it is okay. I found the song. It is Life's a Mess. I was right, but it's Life's a Mess
mm.
2. So he did
All
Life's a Mess
right.
with Halsey, Life's a Mess 2 with Clever and Post Malone, and it's just like more acoustic. It's so freaking
Mm.
good. So that's going on the Spotify playlist.
Yeah. It's it's pretty amazing, isn't it? You
Oh,
know, like the songs he made. I could actually probably screen share and go and search. I don't know. Will I get kicked off for sharing music? I don't know if you can share music live on a podcast, can you?
probably not. You'll probably get
Yeah, it's not
banned.
worth it. But
Oh,
but is there any movies that you like to watch when you wind down, or any TV series you get into
I
with
haven't. So
downtime?
I haven't been doing that at all. So I've been doing gaming a little bit more than I ever used to as well. And I haven't really watched shows or movies to relax anymore. I just kind of can't sit still through them. However, there are a few TV shows that I watch like every year. So I'll tell you what those are. So basically every year, I haven't done it yet this year, but
Mm,
usually every year I watch Scrubs
nice.
all the way through. I freaking love Scrubs so much. And I watch Friday Night Lights. Have you
Like
seen either of those?
Friday, I've seen Scrubs. What's Friday Night Lights?
Okay, Friday Night Lights is, oh my gosh, it's so freaking good. It's like a drama about Texas football. Football is huge in Texas, American football. Um and it's just it's such a good show. It's so freaking good. Like some of the phrases, okay, on my shirts at Dottie's, we say make memories, eat kolaches. I
Mm,
got that from that show because
nice.
the coach or the one of the star players or like the main characters in the show says make memories, no regrets. That's like his thing. I mean, and then he goes out and parties, but make memories,
Yeah.
no regrets. So I said, I changed it and I put make memories, eat kolaches on the back of my shirts. And in a lot of my Instagram posts, I'll put make memories from that show.
Yeah, because I've
So,
seen you do that, and I've always wondered where that's kind of like
mm-hmm.
from. Yeah, that's cool.
Yep. So it's from that show. What about you? What are your favorite go-to
Me,
movies or shows?
I've been watching a lot of The Office, the US one.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So funny.
Yep. I that's probably one I watch every year too.
Yeah, it's just dead easy to watch, and it's just really
It's
like
so good.
spot on.
Yep.
Um,
So
because
good.
I
And the
work it.
British one, like I
Yeah,
love the British one too. I don't watch it as often, but like Ricky Gervais, oh my gosh,
it's very
like
very clever
he kills
writing.
me.
Very very clever.
Yep.
I watched that. I like Better Call Saul.
Okay.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
with the Breaking Bad spin-off
Breaking
with the
Bad spinoff.
lawyer, Bob
Yep.
Odenkirk.
Breaking
He's
Bad
great.
was incredible. Holy smokes,
Mm,
Breaking Bad was so good.
yeah, I like that. Band of Brothers and The
Uh-huh.
Sopranos.
Mm-hmm. Okay. See, I haven't gotten into The Sopranos. I think I could. I think that next time I need a deep dive rabbit hole show,
Mm,
I think I could probably get into that one. I loved
yeah,
Band of Brothers too. That was
yeah,
just so incredible.
yeah. They put a lot of work into some of these series, don't they? And it's really quite something, you know, when you see that, you see someone really get into the character. I'm trying to
Hmm.
think of any other movies.
I had
It,
to kind of, I had to kind of, I don't think I intentionally stopped like watching a lot of TV shows or
mm,
movies. I just like had other things that I wanted to like spend my
mm,
energy on because I needed to like off put some energy. But
mm,
I do have to kind of watch myself because I will get in a mindset. Like I could have very easily in the last 3 weeks with how my brain works, just like dived into a show and not moved off the couch for like a week,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
So I kind of deliberately chose not to, but I think it's good to have that balance of just like,
Mm,
yeah, kind of relaxing and shutting off your mind, and then, but not maybe doing too much of that. At least for me, I can't do too much of it because I can
mm.
slip into some patterns that aren't helpful to me.
Yeah. No, I see. I think when you have a lot of energy and you have a lot of kind of go and drive, I think when you're in that mode, you kind of go all in. And I think I'm
Yep.
quite similar in that way. You know, I
Yeah.
kind of have to have that
Yep.
balance. Okay.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, it's been 2 hours now, whatever. I'm gonna do X, Y,
Yep.
Z, you know.
Hmm.
But I think it's very good that, you know, you're mindful and you recognize, you know, where your time is, where your energy goes, you know. I think,
I hope so.
you know, self-aware, it's a process, isn't it? You know, we're constantly kind of growing and learning as we go along. And
Hmm.
you know, are you okay for time, by the way? I know you said,
I do have to go, so
yeah,
we'll have to do a round two.
yeah,
But I'm sad because we just got into it, and I have some
yeah,
other things that I want to talk to you about. I
that's
wanted to talk
cool.
to you about your thoughts on NFTs and what
Mm,
Gary Vee's been working on with V
mm.
Friends and stuff like that.
I
And
can give you a quick opinion on it.
give me a quick
I
opinion.
I think it's pretty cool, but I think I think some of it is a bit crazy how expensive they cost, or
Yeah.
the amount of money people are willing to put into it. I think it's a
Hmm.
bit crazy.
It is, but I agree. However, I'm like, I'm gonna start drawing stuff and I'm gonna sell it. Like I've thought about that more than once. Or like I'm gonna um I don't know. I need to do a little bit more research on it, but like I think there's just so much ridiculous opportunity, and it's pretty, and it's so fresh right now too. I know that I need to deep dive and do some more research, but like some of the stuff I'm seeing, I'm like, okay, there's a lot that you could do with it.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, and
Like
there's a lot of
I've
scope.
thought about like what if you sold the original, like with thirsters, for example. Like I have like the whole process kind of documented of how we came up with the logo and like the versions. So like you
Mm.
could turn that into an NFT and have like own the original version of like the Thirst logo.
Yeah, so you could have like stage one, stage two, and like the development of it, couldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Like that sketch, and then like have it. I don't know. There's just a ton that can be done with it, and that's going to be when tiny houses kind of calm down a little bit. I think I'm going to do a YouTube hyper focus deep dive and kind of gather the data. I might be late. I'll be late on some stuff by that time probably, but I still think there should be some opportunity. But I think it's pretty interesting, and it is like, yeah, I watched a YouTube video yesterday. They were talking about like the different crypto punks that have sold, and then kind of like some kind of similar kind of ideas and
Mm.
things that have sold for like 1.3 million, 600,000.
Holy shit.
I'm like, I'm like, yo, I can draw a tree. So what if I drew, like, there's just this type of tree that I've drawn for years. It's just like this tree that I draw. What if I drew that tree 50 different times and different varieties, and that's my tree series? Like, I literally might do that.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is there's always someone out there who's got a passion for something. There's people who have
Yep.
passions for, like, you know, bottle cap collecting. So
Yep.
I mean, if people have a passion for that, I'm sure there are people out there who like, you know, photographs of trees, drawings of trees. There's so much scope that you can go down with that. And I think if you're happy with what you're doing and you're passionate about it, then there's definitely a scope for that, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's going
But
to be interesting to see what happens with it.
yeah, yeah, no, watch this space.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
I'm aware that you need to go because of time and everything. But next time we'll do another part for this, and it's been
Yeah.
a pleasure talking to you. Always amazing talking to you,
Hey, you too, man.
and you know, I keep on doing what you're doing. I think it's awesome, and
Thank you. You as well. I want to dive into just kind of like your day to day now too, and kind of some of your goals with the pod and some other things next time. So we should reschedule part 2 really soon
yeah,
and just get
no,
it
of
done.
course, sounds good to me. But people can
Cool.
find you on Instagram, can't they? And you know, where can they find you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So at Sierra.mccleve on Instagram, Sierra McCleve on YouTube. I've got my podcast is Make a Dent on Instagram. So at Make a Dent Podcast and Make a Dent Podcast on YouTube. And we're going to have you on for another round of that one soon too. I'm excited. And you need to come out here. So like we should do an in-person one in the mountains of Utah.
It'd be awesome. Yeah, it'd be great.
It'd be sweet.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, man. Well, thanks for having me on. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
And let's reschedule for part 2 soon.
Yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care.
Okay, see ya. Bye.
Bye.